Hi everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel where we have some massive breaking news. I'm sure you've seen it already and in the headline to my piece, but Liverpool have firmed up their informal approach for Alexander Isak. Full details to follow in this video, a bit of an analysis and where Newcastle stand with it all, their stance coming up in the video. But before we do that, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. I appreciate the extra subscribers. I know it's not good news at the moment, and apologies, but hopefully I've got good news to bring in the next 4 weeks. There's definitely going to be lots of activity, so please do subscribe. There's more to come. Good news, I promise. Give us a thumbs up if this is the sort of video you don't like and leave your comments below. I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 comments on the back of this. Look, on to the video. We know Alexander Isak is agitating to leave. We know he's unsettled. We know his head has been turned. We know the reason he's training out in the Basque region by himself is not because of the injury. It's because he's annoyed, frustrated, upset that he feels Newcastle have reneged on a promise to give him more money or to allow him to leave. And the situation is becoming very, very ugly at the moment. This lunchtime, 12 o'clock, we brought you the news that Liverpool have firmed up their interest in Isak with a formal approach. They have had a formal bid today of what I understand to be £110 million plus add-ons. I'm told it's not 120, so it's like 110 plus 5 or 110 plus 7.5, but it's close on a Premier League record. Obviously Florian Wirtz holds that for 116 million. It's about the same sort of money, about 110 million up front rather than 100 million up front, which Wirtz was. And Newcastle have turned it down. So Newcastle have turned it down for 2 reasons. One, it doesn't meet their valuation, which is 150 million. I still think if a sale goes through, I'll be surprised if it is 150 million. I hope I'm wrong. But I still think a sale would probably go through for a little bit less than that, just because you've got an unhappy player there, and you don't want him stinking the place out if he's down tooling, so to an extent. And the second reason is Newcastle don't have a ready-made replacement. They don't have a top-level replacement lined up yet, and they've been trying and trying. You know, they tried for Delap, they tried for João Pedro. None of them were to be the main man. They were to be the number 2 striker to Isak. But they then tried for Ekitike, who was to essentially be the Isak replacement if Isak went, whether it was this summer or next. I think they were going to try and get a year of them together, maybe a bit naively, but they hoped to do that. They failed with Ekitike, who would have been the Isak replacement, annoyingly. Going to Liverpool, that must be such a hard one for you guys to take now that Liverpool are in for Isak as well. And then the one they're in for now is Benjamin Cesco. So unless Newcastle get assurances that Cesco's going to come here, or a player of that ilk, player of that calibre, they're not going to allow Isak to go, which really makes the situation really, really strained, because it's going to be strange to see Alexander Isak start the season as a Newcastle player if this doesn't go through. You know, it'll be incredible to see how Eddie Howe has to do the mother of all mad management jobs to get his head in the right place when his head has clearly been turned by Liverpool. But look, stranger things have happened. I still think it's probably 60-40, 60 that he goes, 40 that he stays. I still think there's a chance he stays, and it's purely for the fact that Newcastle can't get a decent top-level replacement lined up, or haven't yet. Should they throw the kitchen sink at Benjamin Cesco? Probably, yeah. They should probably just give him what he wants. I don't know what he wants. I'm guessing it's probably in excess of £200,000 a week. If Man United are interested as well, do you really want to strengthen Man United more? They've already got Cunha and Mbeumo ahead of you. Do you really want to give them Cesco as well? I just think Newcastle throw the kitchen sink at getting Cesco and then allow Isak to leave, take the money, £135 million, and then use that. You can buy Cesco and a couple other players for that. I just think it's got to the stage now where it's become so toxic that you probably just need to allow Isak to go and explore his options. Look, I know you guys will be upset and angry about the way this has panned out and the way that he's carried himself. You know, I've seen the stuff at the training ground earlier and seen lots of stuff on social media. I can understand your frustration. I mean, in this world, I've said it in an earlier video, imagine being unhappy earning £150,000 a week. Imagine being unhappy. It's crazy. But yeah, I suppose it's all relevant, isn't it? So look, as I stand here right now, Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock, I'm fully expecting Liverpool to come back in with a second offer. I'm told they're preparing a second offer. But Newcastle, for two reasons, unless it meets the valuation or close to the valuation, and two, unless they've got a replacement lined up and ready to come in, they're not going to do business. So let's see what happens next week. I think next week's crucial because obviously Newcastle are back Monday morning from South Korea. ISAK will be due back from his own personal training camp, and the two worlds are going to collide, and it'll be interesting to see what's said. It'll give Eddie a chance to sit down and talk to him. It must be really frustrating for Eddie being out there in South Korea and not being in close contact with ISAK to try and get in his head and try and work on him a little bit. He's not able to do that, and it's given ISAK that time to kind of stew over the situation. Maybe not. Maybe in that time he's realised he's maybe taken it too far. We will wait and see. We won't know that until next week. When they return. But I keep getting asked the question, could this one drag on? I don't think it drags on to the end of the transfer window. It's eye-watering sums of money. Newcastle cannot allow this to go on until the end of the window. They just can't. They need some resolution on this quickly, and whether that's next week or in the next 10 days, I think we will know one way or the other come the opening day of the season, 2 weeks tomorrow, what the outcome is. I think ISAK they'll either told him you're staying here, that's it, or he'll be holding a Liverpool scarf above his head. I don't think it's going to go on any longer than that, and it just can't. It's casting a huge shadow over Newcastle's transfer window, which already has been massively disappointing, bruising. It's been a disaster, hasn't it? You've gone and failed for about 8 players, which is bad enough, but to then have your talisman want to leave as well. I've got to say, the failure to get those players in won't have helped the ISAK situation. He'll be thinking, why are players not wanting to come here? And you'll see Liverpool as, with the players they've signed in Wirtz and Ekitike and Frimpong, and Kerkez, they've made some cracking signings, you have to say, and he will see that as a place where he wants to take his career to the next step. Incredible to think he scored the winner against Liverpool in the cup final, and his name will go down in club folklore, and then he's done this 3 months later. I just think everyone at the club would have accepted that he moves on next summer. I think there would have been a general, that's okay, you move on next summer, 2 years left, £100 million. I don't think he needed to push to do it this summer, I really did. I know the reason he's doing that is because he sees an opportunity there at Liverpool. They're still looking for a striker. What if this time next year they've bought someone else and that closes the door for him? I get that, but has it really been worth falling out with the Newcastle fans and allowing them to have this perception of you when they absolutely idolised you and absolutely loved you? Has it really been worth it for 1 year of your career? I'm not so sure. It's gone on too long now. It really has. It has come to a stage where you need some kind of resolution. I felt it was calming down a little bit, but this formal offer from Liverpool has just heightened things again. And I think the fact that they've come in and offered 110 plus 5 or 110 plus 7, it just it's a low ball offer, isn't it? And look, they know it's going to unsettle the player further. They know Newcastle are going to turn it down. Let's see what their second offer is. But it's almost coming to the point where if you're Newcastle now, is it better just to take the money, move on, and just try and buy a couple more players? The problem is, once you've got that money to spend, if you're sat there with 130, 140 million in the bank, the problem then is you're selling clubs. Your Brentford, for example, starts saying, right, hang on, well, we want 50 million for Wissa now if he's to go, or RB Leipzig put their price up for Cesco. That's the problem, and that was one of the reasons why Newcastle wanted Ekitike in before they dealt with the ISAK situation, because at least they're then trading from a position of strength rather than ISAK being sold. You've got this money and you're trying to buy with pocketfuls of cash. So look, it's been an unmitigated disaster, this transfer window. There is still 4 weeks left. You can still get business done, but it doesn't bode well ahead of the new season, and it's really difficult to tell which way this is going to go. The longer it goes on, the more chance I think he has of staying at Newcastle. But if Liverpool manage to come to some kind of agreement in the next week or so, it's going to be hard. Or put a good offer in, it's going to be hard for Newcastle to say no. However, the caveat is that Newcastle still don't have a replacement, so it's a really, really, really delicate situation. I don't know about yous. I'm fed up talking about it. I was about to head off home today, packed up, early finish on a Friday, and this news came in. So it's not been enjoyable, guys, for me either. I feel like I've been dragged all over the place for very little coming the other way, nothing tangible at the end of it. So anyway, guys, sorry about the bad news, but if there's any more updates, I'll bring them to you on the channel. Cheers, take care.